talking before the breakdown. Sorry, that's sacrilege. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sci-Fi Sistas live show, YouTube show. I'm Sister Tamia. We got Sister Yvette.
Hello.
And Sister Sabrina.
Whoop, whoop.
I sound like I'm at church, right? And and tonight, our very special guest, who we're so excited to welcome to our show, Mr. Brian Volk-Weiss.
Yay!
Yay! Now, you guys,
I'm officially hypnotized from your opening that little ball dance.
I know, right?
Like that, huh?
Getting dozy here.
That's it. That's what keeps you focused. That keeps you staying in.
The wormhole ghost.
There you go. The
now,
prophets.
folks, if y'all don't know who Brian is, I got to tell you, it was the prophets, right? I know. If y'all don't know who Brian is, and I don't know why you wouldn't, this man is a legend. He is a fandom legend. We love you because you put out all this stuff that speaks to our little fan hearts all the time. Now, does anybody know a little itty bitty documentary called The Center Seat?
Woo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that little thing that we all love. This is the man responsible for that, as well as the toys that made us and the movies that made us, which are so dope, by the way. I get addicted to those too.
Those are so good.
I love watching those. It's like all this great history. So, and you know, as well as like you've got this huge career, like spanning so long, and you worked with a lot of comedians and put on a lot of stand-up comic specials, right? Like you've done a little bit of everything, right, Brian?
Now we're making toys, so the last box has been checked. Yeah,
all right.
We're putting a dishwasher warehouse next week. So, next week we're making dishwashers.
I'll buy your.
I'll buy one. I need a new one.
I mean, so Brian, like before we get to the Expanse stuff that we want to talk about, can we just go back a little bit and talk about, because we never had you on for this, and I don't know why, we were remiss in that, but the making of the center seat and where do you think the place of the center seat is in all the sea of Trek documentaries?
That's you know. So I don't have any what's called media training. This would be a moment where I could probably use some media training. Here's how I'm going to answer the question. How about this? So I'm a Trekkie. I attribute a tremendous percentage of everything I've been able to do in my life to Star Trek. And I tell you that to establish the fact that I'm as biased as anybody could be to answer that question. Mm-hmm. So here's what I will say. So, you know, as we were talking about before the show, you know, it aired on the History Channel, and God bless the History Channel, but not a lot of people saw it there. Mm-hmm. So last year, the way these deals work is they're for a limited time, and then we get the rights back, and then we can put it everywhere we want.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I'm in WonderCon last year, which if you're not familiar, PowerCon. And that's a kind of a small festival in Columbus, Ohio. It's one of my favorites in the whole country. So we are there. I think the panel was supposed to be talking about, I could be wrong about this, but it was supposed to be about Power Lords. Like we had just acquired Power Lords. Oh, no, sorry. It was Moo Mesa. We had just acquired Moo Mesa. And the whole panel, Moo Mesa, little, biker mice from Mars, whatever. But it was supposed to be about Moo Mesa. The panel ends, it's about 30 minutes, and now it's time for the Q&A. Every single question was about the center seat.
Yep, that would be right.
I've never been asked ever at a panel about the center seat, like 0.0. And finally, the 8th or 9th person in a row, I'm like, hey, I got to ask you a question. I'm going to flip it around. Why is everybody talking about the center seat? And they were like, well, it just came out.
Oh,
I'm like, what do you mean it just came out?
Wow.
And then it hit me. So now, unless I'm in a Target toy section, which is like literally the only place on earth, thank God, I get mobbed. I can tell you a great story. My favorite story of last year happened in a Target toy aisle, but it's the thing I get asked about the most. It's the most deep, more than even Toys That Made Us.
Mhm.
By the way, there's a store down the street from my office here in Burbank. People know that's my home store. People have left things for me. They'll be like, hey, if Volk-Weiss comes, can you get him to bring this?
You got a shelf in the store.
9 out of 10 things that I'm asked to sign are connected to the center seat.
wow.
That's my best way of answering your question without sounding
Wow.
narcissistic, ego.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But yeah, it seems to have resonated.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fantastic. I love it. I mean, because it resonated with me. I was
Mhm.
watching it on History Channel and trying to find like and I was so jealous of my friends that could see the whole thing.
Mhm.
You know, they saw all the episodes and I only saw 4. And I was like, but now I know that I can watch it again
Yeah.
and
I
I
mean,
can
I
see the
saw
whole
one. I
thing.
saw the first one because the next one that came out wasn't even the second one. It was like the
Yeah,
fourth one or something. So I was like, all right, I'm done with that. I don't know what's going on there. So I never went back to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now
Yeah,
I know.
That first episode, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been wanting to make that, like probably since I was 20.
Wow.
It's what I did, and it's funny. Like everyone's like, Brian, that was so amazing and earth shattering, and it really wasn't because I assume in a with your Trekkiness, you also read the Star Trek books, right?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yvette does for
Yes.
sure. That's your girl right there.
You probably noticed the books always cover Lucille Ball.
Mm-hmm.
The documentaries,
Yes.
for
Yes.
some reason,
Yes.
have always excluded her.
Mhm.
Yep.
And so again, everyone's like, Brian, you're a genius. I didn't know that. And I'm like, no, I'm not a genius. I just took what was in the books and actually put it on a TV screen.
Oh, I really
Because
gotta
what
watch
I've
it now.
said for at least 25 years, if Gene Roddenberry is the father of Star Trek, which I believe he is, obviously,
Mhm.
well, then Lucille Ball is definitely the mother.
That's for
Absolutely.
sure. Absolutely.
Anybody can write.
We
Absolutely.
agree.
Absolutely.
Anybody. My 10-year-old daughter just wrote a script. Like anybody can. But
Right.
there's this stuff called money that is very helpful when you want to turn those pages into a visual medium. And as
Yeah.
I assume you all know,
Mhm.
she did it twice.
Sure did.
Right.
Mission
Funded-
Impossible.
No, I'm not even including Mission
Oh,
Impossible.
wow.
There were 2 Star Trek pilots.
Oh, that's
So-
right.
Oh.
That's right. The Cage and the what was the
What-
whatever the pilot was. You guys know
Mhm.
the TOS pilot, right?
Yeah, I'm more of a
Sabrina.
Kirk movies through next gen kind of
Oh,
guy.
okay. Okay.
So yeah, but
Yeah,
whatever it was. But yeah, she wrote a check twice. Huge checks.
She sure did.
So yeah, so that's why.
Mhm.
So okay, let's talk about that because like I think for me personally, I see a direct comparison and a direct line of descent from my love of Star Trek and my fandom with Star Trek into the Expanse, like and I feel about both of these properties almost the same way. The Expanse has taken on a whole new life for me. But let's like go back, like so you just said like you were a next gen kid. Like how did your love of Star Trek arise? Was it from kid or were you
Oh, yeah.
older?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not. I respect very much. TOS. Like there's obviously nothing.
Thank you. Thank
that
you.
would come afterwards without it. But for me, and I know this is a little crazy, so please don't think that I don't know that, though if I had to guess, you're the right crowd to say this to. I'm not religious. Like I didn't join the military. The closest thing that I have to like a code comes from Star Trek 2. and the entire premise of the Kobayashi Maru and Kirk's whole "I don't believe in the no-win scenario." It's very hard for me to even say that out loud without getting a little emotional. But what you were saying earlier, anyone who may consider me successful, which for the record I do not at this moment, it all comes back to that line, and that line changed my life. I'll give you a little behind the scenes center seat story. So I'm interviewing Nicholas Myers, and the interview's over. You know, it was fine and everything, and I couldn't look at him. I knew I couldn't look at him, but he's the one who wrote that line. You know, I don't believe in the no scenario. I didn't know if I'd ever see him again. So I told him, you know, and I mean, I was just to say, I want you to know that line changed my life. Everything I have in my life comes from that line. That probably took me 2.5 minutes to say because I was sobbing. Sobbing. And I'm looking down. I got my hat on. I'm like literally tears going down my face on my shirt. And I finally look up, pretty embarrassed, and I realize he's sobbing too.
Wow.
Two dudes long past the point where they should be crying in public, crying. And now I'm like, oh my God, the crew is here. This is so embarrassing. I look around, half the crew is crying. Like, all right, well,
I want to sob.
This is the right room for this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was Star Trek 2. My mom took me. I remember vividly, of course, you know, the SETI eel going in the ear. I remember the phasers pounding into the Enterprise and whatnot. But I was 8 years old. I remembered that line from 8 years old. I don't believe in the no-win scenario. And then basically it was the movies. Then it was Next Gen. No offense, I can tell this is the wrong room to say this in based on your backgrounds. But I didn't get into Deep Space Nine until season 3. And then I would argue
be correct.
What'd you say?
We could agree with that.
Would be correct.
Yeah, I mean, like it's understandable, right?
Totally get that.
I didn't want you to hang up on me. And then it really did become some of, if not the best Star Trek ever made.
That would be correct too.
Really didn't click with. Enterprise season 1 A+, season 2 C, and then kept going down. And then 2 of the Picard movies, and then season 3 of Picard. That's
pretty good. That's pretty good.
When people say how to start watching Star Trek, we'll just give them that line.
I just want to cut, print. That's the one. We're going with that one. Yes.
I find Discovery very interesting. I'm not sure how Star Trek-y that is. I do love Lower Decks.
Oh,
I love Lower Decks. I've
Oh,
seen
yes.
the episode at least twice, some episodes 4 or 5 times. So I always got
yes, sir.
An honerary mention. God, is that show good?
It is. The writing is just spectacular.
Oh my God. My wife, who truly believes Star Trek is a weird religion I'm in, she watches Lower Decks with me.
See?
Oh, that's big.
That's it. I was just saying that my middle kid, who does, everybody else watches Star Trek, but she just shakes her head and walks away. But Lower Decks, she's in for that one. Yeah, she's in for that.
It's really, and as a Trekkie, like I don't know why. Like I don't know why that.
It's Star Trek. Because it's extremely Trekky. It's a Star Trek. I mean,
no, I mean about your daughter and my wife.
Oh yeah. Right. Why is it that one? Yeah. Well, she loves. She's a big Rick and Morty fan, so I think that helps. Yeah,
that'll do it.
Yeah.
When my then girlfriend, now wife, moved in with me, I'll never forget. I was watching something on a on a Sunday, probably Next Gen. And it was a Cardassian episode, and my wife walked out of the room and then walked back in backwards and goes, "Did he just say Kardashians?" No, she did not. So that's my wife's. That's where Star Trek starts and stops. Yeah.
Oh my God! I remember when that came out. Like I remember turning it on, going, I'm so confused.
Yeah.
I thought this was about Star Trek. I was like, click. This is not the Cardassians. This is the Kardashians. I am so confused.
Great there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about going from Star Trek, like let's move to the Expanse now, because I mean, like, okay, honestly, we could sit here and we could talk Trek literally all day and all night, but I know that's not what we're here for tonight. So I don't want to hold everybody captive while we talk Star Trek and then eventually go, oh yeah, we need to talk about the Expanse. And you're like, I gotta go. So, I mean, for you, how did you get into the Expanse? I got into it, but from the books first. Like I started reading the books and I realized that this is some of the best sci-fi I've read in my entire life. Like it was just so phenomenal. The world building was so rich. I mean, it was just poignant. I mean, it had these great characters. Had everything going for it. And then we got the TV show and I was like, yay! You know, I was so excited. I was like, and then I'm watching and I was like, it's just like the books, you know. And so it was easy for me to really fall in love with it in a hardcore way. What was your Expanse journey like?
It's incredibly boring. It was a Saturday or Sunday morning. For years I'd heard about this thing called the Expanse, but I didn't know what it was, wasn't paying attention. And it was weird because I kind of don't really do this very often. I was just flipping through Amazon and I saw the key art and I was in the mood for like little sci-fi. I hit play. I was on my phone, barely paying attention to anything. And I remember vividly looking up and there was this girl coming at us with her hair flowing out. And I'm like, well, that was probably very expensive to do. And I'm like, well, this is good. And then the credits came and I was like, I was back on my phone. And I'll never forget, it was so weird. You're going to think this is weird, like the thing that got me. But it's the scene where Holden, it's like 10 minutes into the show, maybe even 5. Holden, I think he's using a razor blade. He's shaving the sulfur from a matchstick into his coffee.
Into the coffee.
Yes!
Into the coffee.
And I'm looking at that and I'm like, what a great detail. Right. So I ignored the text. I had not paid attention to so I went back and I started the whole thing again.
Wow.
And luckily for me, at that point, there were 3 seasons.
Yes.
On the show on Amazon. And I mean, I think it was a Sunday morning, it might have been a Saturday morning, but in less than a week, I had watched all 3 seasons.
Wow.
And it's funny, I see your thing. When I grow up, I want to be Naomi Nagata. When I grow up, I want to be Ava Salvara.
Yes.
So I was, so the whole show was great. And then she starts doing her thing. And I'm like, who is this?
Who is this?
Like everyone's talking about Cersei from Game of Thrones, and she's fine, she's great, whatever. But I'm like, this is the greatest character in the history of television
ever, right?
Screaming at everybody. No one else is cursing. She's telling everyone else to fuck off. Like, I'm like, who is this? And that I was hooked. I was literally hooked. Yeah, lots had to do with her.
Oh my God, I love. I'm in love with every female character on that show. Every single one.
The only male character like I love is Amos.
Amos. Yes.
Every other, and you know what? I gotta give an honorable. I gotta give a shout out to, and again, this will be weird, but I did like Mao. Like he was just so evil, but so corporate about it.
Right.
Like, it was just, he was like literally a real life Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, if you met him on the street, you'd think he was like a nice, normal, good dude. But he was like so horrible.
Yeah,
but
he was like he was so detached from the decisions he was making. Like, it was just like, no, it's just, he was pathological, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like,
Let me
Yeah.
start a war. Let me experiment on kids. You know, I don't care if my 2 daughters hate me to death. And you know, what's the big deal? I'm gonna make $1 million bazillion dollars.
Right.
Wow.
That's exactly it. I saw him at a tiny convention in Pasadena about 3 years ago.
Mm.
If you or anybody had seen me going to him, you would have thought it was like I don't know who, like George Clooney or something. I don't know. Like I could not. He was literally there by himself, the actor.
Wow.
Like no one
Wow.
online. I like almost tackled him. Like
Wow.
excited to see it. Yeah. So
Oh my
man.
God. So then talk to me about how you got to this opportunity, how Nacelle got this opportunity from Alcon.
it was crazy. It was like so crazy. So there you go. I'm trying to catch a couple.
I know, right?
As you mentioned earlier, we do this show called The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah.
So that is like what got us like, you know, in the conversation about toys. So about, I guess, 3 years after The Toys That Made Us came out, I started getting all these calls and emails from this dude named Michael Goodman. And I wanted nothing to do with him, but like my whole career is because of like tenacity. Like I just keep, the polite tenacity.
Right.
So I really respected his polite tenacity.
Mhm.
So I sent him I finally wrote back. I was like, hey man, like we got nothing to talk about, but I respect your tenacity. All right, we'll do a Zoom. So we got on a Zoom and he was basically like, we got to do a deal because if I could tell people I'm working with you, I think I could bring you opportunities. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do a deal. We ended up doing this thing, and this was his term, and it was an accurate term, a no deal. And basically what it meant was all we had a deal, the only thing that we had a deal about was that he could legally go out and tell people we had a deal. So about 3 months later, I called him up. We had already acquired our first IP because of him, this Goodman guy. And I called him up and I go, I got to tell you, man, I got good news and bad news. The bad news, the deal's not working for me. The good news, I think it's good news. For me it is, but I want to hire you. I need you to be full-time because I need to talk to you whenever I want. And you having this weird deal, no deal thing, I feel guilty, calling you after 3 p.m. So we did the deal. And so that's exhibits A and B, Toys That Made Us Goodman. So as we're starting to go out and make our own toys and our own cartoons and everything, and documentaries, I had set up a general meeting with Alcon, and 100% of my game plan, and I had a deck and everything, was to see if I could convince them to co-finance documentaries with me. Like that was it. That was the whole purpose.
Right.
2 minutes into the meeting, we're waiting for some other person to come in, and one of the people in the room followed me on Instagram and was like, hey man, just so you know, you see this room we're in? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, this is the room where every single script of The Expanse was written.
Oh,
wow.
boy.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
Oh boy.
If you've seen things I've directed, I like locations and what I call relics are very important to our storytelling.
Yeah.
So like I can barely concentrate on the reason why I'm there. Then the guy who was late comes in, his arm has the tattoos from the side of the Razorback.
Stop.
It starts with like the Wright brothers plane, and it goes to like the Razorback. And
right.
Wow.
Wow.
So we stopped talking about all the shit that I was there to talk about. And we start talking about The Expanse. And the day before, we had announced that we had just bought Biker Mice and we're putting Biker Mice into production. And the guy goes, well, would you ever consider doing toys for The Expanse?
Oof.
And 18 years later, here's your guy.
Yay!
Wow.
So yeah,
that's
that's
how
it happened.
Sorry.
It was remember to can't. I agree. But that's how it happened. It was as random as anything I've done in my entire career. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I
I
love
love that.
Crazy.
I love that. Right? I feel like your whole life has been like, your polite tenacity not included. I know that it's a huge part of it, but following what you love and being a fan has brought you into a lot of these opportunities. I always tell people, just, if you love it, just try it, just do it, just follow it, find a way to express your love for it, and something will come of it, if you work, but you got to work hard. It's not just going to fall in your lap, but I feel like your story is such an example of that, because you're like the fan's fan, you're out here, you're telling our stories, but you're us.
I feel kind of like a take this word with a grain of salt, but I feel like I'm a publicly known spy. I get to go in. So and what I mean by publicly known, I'm not a spy, but my point is we do the show for Disney Plus called Behind the Attraction. They literally show us everything. I knew, and by the way, I'm so very rarely will I pat myself on the shoulder, but I will on this. I'm in a meeting. So one of the weird things about that show is they have this term. It's called read you in. So they needed to read us in to everything so that we knew what the hell we were talking about when we were making the show. So we're under NDA, under NDA, under NDA. And literally, and by the way, this story it's my favorite, but I could tell you 20 of these. I'm literally in a meeting with Disney Plus, Imagineering, Lucasfilm, and a couple other departments, 16, 17 people.
Wow.
And there was this girl at Lucasfilm who I'd met a few times, but I didn't know her that well. And we're all getting settled and waiting for the meeting to start. And she goes, this is 5 years ago. She goes, boy, you must be in a good mood today. And I'm like, I'm in a pretty good mood, but why do you say that? And she's like, well, I'm sure you heard Ahsoka got greenlit. And I'm like,
what are you saying, woman?
Well, I knew that for 2.5 years.
God.
Jesus,
oh my God.
Wow.
Before they announced it.
Please never do that to me.
I knew about the Dawson. And you should have seen the color drained out of her face. I don't think I'm cleared for that.
Nah.
But I kept my mouth shut, Disney. I kept my mouth shut.
That's right.
Well, what choice did you have, Brian? Right.
Yeah. But no, to your point, I feel like almost like a representative of all the nerds I grew up with, and and it started really with Toys That Made Us. We're we're in the bowels of Hasbro's prototype warehouse. So I'm like, that's worth $1 million. That's worth $4 million. That's $500,000. No one's following me. It was really weird.
Yeah, the Toys That Made Us is so dope. My God. I love that show. So we had the teaser video for the Expanse figures for the campaign. So Yvette, did you want to cue that up?
Do you want to talk about it a little bit, Brian, or you want to talk about it afterwards?
The video first, or you want to talk about it first?
They told me to make a video. We made a video.
All right. Well, here's the video.
How about
This is your captain, and this is your ship.
Oh, hello there. Sorry. I was just using Avasarala's hand terminal that I got at the Alcon auction, and I got a little distracted. My bad. I think I just ordered a missile strike by accident. My name's Brian Volk-Weiss, and I'm the founder of the Nacelle company. To say that I cannot believe that Alcon has trusted us to make these toys would be the biggest understatement of my entire life.
I believe that makes you the most powerful man in the system.
But here we are, and I am so excited to tell you about what we're up to.
This journey will not end until we are victorious.
There are 2 words that sum up everything we're doing with our Expanse toy line: quality, and we are reverential for the show. We are trying to get every single detail right. From little hooks on shoulders, making sure the holsters sit exactly where it should. We want the eyes to look right. We want the faces to be perfect. We want Bobby's Goliath suit to look heavy. We want everything to be perfect. Each figure has at least 11 points of articulation. 4, 5, 6, just the legs are 6.
Oh yeah, if you count those separately.
They're always counted separately. And each figure will have at least 2 accessories. These are toys for die-hard fans, made by die-hard fans.
This is your moment.
We are launching with a 2-pack of Asarala and Drummer in that famous pose where they're shaking hands. I'm not crying, you're crying. Another 2-pack that we're doing is Draper versus the Proto-Molecule. I would never bet against Draper. Whoever your favorite character is, we want you to be able to have one on your desk to inspire you the way so many of these characters inspired me and millions of other people. And if you back this Kickstarter, you can get all 8 figures. Thank you for watching. I really hope you back this. And of course, Beltalada! Though I have to admit, I'm more of a MMC kind of guy.
Who are we? I can't hear you. Who are we?
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in like 2 months. Maybe more.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched that. Like I watch it and then I've watched it over and then I watched it over again. I just love it.
I am getting all 8.
Oh my god! Oh my god! By the way, if I could go back in time and answer your question, did I want to say anything beforehand? This is what I would have said. See if you notice where I turn this into something I send to the IRS to justify too much money I spent at the last Alcon auction. I think the kids call that a humble brag.
Humble brag.
Hand terminal.
I know you just ordered a missile strike.
Man.
I posted.
That was mine. Just so you know, that was mine. Like that's in my collection.
I love that.
And we were super jealous, by the way.
Yeah, I'm still jealous. I don't even know what that is, and I want it.
Oh,
that's her hand terminal from the whole run of the show.
Whole run of the show.
It's a Star Trek pad.
That's her terminal.
I love it.
So I posted in the Expanse group on Facebook that we were going to be doing. That's funny. Yay. That we were going to have you on tonight, right? And to be talking about the Kickstarter. And this guy posted this video and he was like, I'm clearing my shelves. And he has this like Yvette shelves behind her. Like he had all this Expanse gear and he just see him like sweeping shit off of the shelves and like into the end. It's like, I made the space.
I'm good. I'm waiting.
Need more people like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So give us the nitty gritty on the Kickstarter, will you?
So it's funny. There's reality, and then there's my crazy brain. So reality, everybody. And by the way, full disclosure, I've never participated on either end of a Kickstarter, so this is all new to me.
Okay.
So, my friends who have done it, the experts who have advised us, they say we're doing very good. We're doing very good. In my crazy mind, I thought we'd be done in 2 days. I thought we'd be at like 225 in 2 days, $500,000 in 10 days, $1 million in 20 days. So I'm trying to manage my expectations for crazy. You know, I was like, "Oh, the comic book funded in a day," and everyone's like, "Yeah, but it was $25." And I'm like, "All right, that's fair. That's fair." But yeah, so it's doing great. Everybody's really happy. Alcon's happy. Everybody's super happy. And again, I'm very confident that we'll get to the 225. Everybody says like 30% of your money comes in the last 2 days. So I'm excited. I'm hopeful for that. But I mean, I want to make more than just the 8 figures, you know? Like I want to hit those bigger goals and make all that cool stuff. So like that's what I'm really hoping. Not only do we fund, but that we hit some of those higher targets.
Okay.
If I'm being completely honest.
So
go
the
ahead.
link for the Kickstarter is in the description of this show. So you can go in there and find it on Facebook and YouTube. So that's where the link is there. So go ahead and get your figures.
Clear your shelves.
That's it.
Yeah, for all 8 figures.
Right, so if people, can you let people know, like, you know, I mean, so if they donate, I mean, if they're donating like at a certain level, they get all 8 figures?
Yes. So the way Kickstarter works, like I can describe to you how the engines work on the Enterprise better than Kickstarter. One of these 2 things is fake, and one of them is very important to my current goals. But sadly enough, this is not a show about Starfleet engines. But that being said, so once we hit the 225, that means everybody who wanted the figures, they're going to get whatever they ordered. But there are bigger goals. So, for example, if I can do another humble brag, I have every single wrap gift from the show. One of the wrap gifts, the last season, they made this beautiful decanter with 2 glasses. So the big thing, we took mine, we laser scanned it, and we're making a replica. So anybody who gets the big one, which is all 8 figures, it also comes with a stand that you can only get at that level. You'll also get one of these beautiful decanter. Wait,
right? Go ahead, David.
But it's stuff like that. We've made a beautiful replica of one of the chairs from the Rocinante. You know, so like that's like the stuff that I want to make. That even yes,
get ready to get juiced.
Clear yourself. So that's like the kind of stuff. We have weapons upgrades. So we have 2 weapons up packs that have, within reason, I believe every single weapon showed more than, like, there's a couple handguns that like one character used once, but like other than that, all like we have 2 weapons packs that are all the weapons. I assume you know Bobby comes with the cucumber sandwiches. You know that? Got him right here.
What? That's so cool.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's so brilliant.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we got, so all of these are the artist it's our best artist. He's based in Italy.
I don't know. Hold on. I don't know why it's.
I'm not giving you the finger.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
So that's
oh my God, that's so brilliant.
Here's a cucumber sandwich that Bobby took a bite out of.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my God.
We'll see. You know whose that is, right?
Oh my God.
That's Amos's. That's his. His special drink. We got Bobby's helmet. Oh, this is my favorite.
We have a pan of lasagna.
So this is one of my favorite things. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
So
damn, that looks so good.
This is the one I want. Bobby Draper in the suit.
You see, by the way, I just noticed everything's backwards.
Yeah.
So you see her bun?
Look at that.
Is that called? I don't have hair. Is that called a bun?
That's called a bun.
So if you look in her helmet, you can see.
There you go.
We made a hole.
A little space for the bun.
For the bun, right there.
Oh my
So
God.
again, going back to what I was saying, like the details.
Yeah.
Got all the guns.
Oh my God.
Got the Martian assault rifle.
Oh
yeah,
love
yeah.
it. I love that's the biggest gun.
This is my favorite thing. This comes with Bobby. This was in one scene for like 13 seconds.
I know, right?
So we made it. There's Bobby's regular MMC rifle.
Yeah, baby.
Long range. More cucumber sandwiches. That's again, it's as a toy collector myself, like it's these details that really resonate. I don't know if you're a Biker Mice from Mars fans or not, but they were kind of like a wannabe Turtles back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So their thing was hot dogs, whereas
Right.
Turtles was pizza. Our versions, not only every single one comes with a hot dog, but it's kind of hidden behind the packaging because we want people to open it. Like they're happy they got it, but then when they open it and they're like, oh my God, it came with a hot dog. Like, that's the joy.
Yeah.
Like from toy collecting. So that's what we're trying to do with all these. By the way, I got to show you her back. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Look at
my
that
God.
detail.
It's so look at it.
You see the
It
bullet?
looks like you're just looking at the one from the show.
Yeah.
Look at the detail. Jeez.
I know, that's amazing. These are amazing.
Look at her face.
I
You
know,
got-
right?
You've got to do Star Trek stuff next.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Oh my
Because
God.
their stuff is kind of
I feel like more with that, I'll be honest with you. I feel like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption, where like we go, when he's going to the parole board, like we go to Paramount about twice a year.
That's Shawshank.
No, it seems a little weird. You probably don't think we're the right people for this just yet, but
Every year.
and I know what I want to do. Like we basically just with Morgan Freeman. I don't keep coming in with different pitches. I
Right.
pick the same
thing.
because it's what I want to do.
Oh,
And it's
God,
just so funny to me that they must be like the fact that they even set the meeting surprises me.
Just to say no.
This year we changed it a little because of Picard.
Right.
So we can make a couple little changes, but no, it's usually the same exact deck every year. We just change the year. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'm
my-
praying for you because
I
I
know.
want to see some really good Star Trek action figures. Most of them don't look like the people at
characters,
all,
the people,
especially any type of person of color. They just never look like the person.
Let me hold on. Have you seen Super Sevens guy in?
Yes, yeah. Super Sevens guy? No.
Yeah. They
It's
nailed
bad.
it.
They nailed her. Okay.
I know
But
I'm
that's
not a woman of color. Please don't.
those are the ones that like go for $800.
No.
Right?
They're like $70.
No?
They're like
$70.
70.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I personally, I mean, Google it. You go look.
Okay.
They nailed her. Like
Okay.
the first time, I thought they did a better job at $70 than XO9 did at $400.
Yeah.
Wow.
XO9 is the one I was thinking of. Okay.
I think they nailed her.
Okay, I'm gonna go look at that one.
Yeah, we're gonna look for those.
Yeah,
But I tell you what, I'm gonna look for more first.
Okay.
Is the link to the Kickstarter. Because I want all 8. Like, so who can you give us the list of the 8? The total? Do we know the total list yet?
Yeah. It's this is why I love being in my office. I can just look. Somebody named Naomi Nagata. Have you heard of her?
Oh,
Got Naomi, Bobby, Amos, Holden, Drummer, the Proto Molecule, and of course I saved the best for last. No offense,
Avasarala.
Yes, but
I can't wait to see what she's wearing.
Wait, what'd you say?
I can't wait to see what she's going to be wearing. It's I know it's
Well,
going to look fantastic.
I can't show you Naomi because she hasn't been revealed publicly yet, and I can't show you Holden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's very nice.
Good. Oh, look at the.
And again,
man.
so everybody knows this is a hand-printed, painted prototype.
Wow.
And this is actually a Gen 1. Bobby is a Gen 3, so you can see her paint's a bit better.
Okay.
Okay.
But this, you can
Can you
see.
show the face? Look at the face. Wow.
I'm gonna come back this way. Yeah, I know.
Now
It's like
that looks
that
great.
looks like her.
Wow,
Yes.
that looks great.
Oh, and it'll be even better than that.
The jewelry. Oh my
Wow.
God, you got the necklace.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it, like I said, it'll be better than that. Much better, actually. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so
I saw the
excited.
Bobby and the Proto Molecule 2-pack on and I'm like, okay, I'm there.
Oh, and it's thank you, Ward.
War Dogheim.
War Dog, huh?
Lord,
Yeah, thank you. I messed up because he's not here yet because there was a problem with his hat. We are also doing Miller. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
World's worst
Gotta
spokesman.
do Miller.
I know
Well,
you get like if you.
about him because he disappeared for 4 seasons.
Well, I know. Well, he popped back up and
Yeah, he did
around.
pop back up.
Sometimes with hats, sometimes without.
Yes, yeah, most bizarre sex scene in the history of filmed entertainment.
The weirdest, right?
Wow.
I'm gonna give him credit for trying.
It
Wow.
was disturbing.
It was disturbing, huh?
No more so than Peanut Hamper and what was that? What that crazy?
Wait, what? Peanut Hamper?
Peanut Hamper from Lower Decks. When what was
Talk
the
about
name of that
weird
episode?
scenes.
When
I
on the bird
forgot.
planet?
I can't
when they
unsee
went
it.
to the
Her
bird
and Raw
planet.
Dog. You got to go back and watch it. if
Yeah,
you haven't
Raw
seen it.
Dog. Yeah.
Wait,
Raw
what show
Dog.
was that? Is that
Lower
Expanse?
Decks.
Lower Decks.
Lower
Oh,
Decks.
lower. Oh! I know. Yes.
I said
okay.
I said it was no weirder than that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you win. You win. That was the strangest thing in the history of Star Trek.
It definitely was. And I loved it.
No, I take it back. The penultimate episode of the first season of Picard, when the girl comes out covered in gold, there's the flower spaceships. And I literally said to myself, this will, depending on the person, either be the high or the low mark of Star Trek forever. This is one of the more bizarre scenes in television history. Anyway.
There were so many.
So many. All I
So
have to
many
say
in that.
about that season is that like Picard, like Star Trek got a sonic screwdriver. And I was pissed, and I was like, "Why do we have a sonic screwdriver? They're like, it'll fix anything. Just put your thoughts to it." Okay, I digress.
Yeah.
It was a sonic
Season
screwdriver.
2 was worse. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Holy
I've
moly.
watched Star Trek episodes over and over again. I'm pretty sure I watched that season once. Like every episode just once, and I have no desire to go back and watch again.
My brain is trying to erase it from my memory.
Me too. Me too. It was
I'm with you.
disturbing.
I'm with you. I'm with
There's
you.
this scene where Picard shows up like dressed like a pirate with an eye patch.
Oh, that was season one.
That's yeah.
I think, right? Season one. He
Yeah,
had a
that
bad
was
French
when they go to
the
accent or
plant.
something.
In the French accent.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
something very wrong here. But if you haven't read Patrick Stewart's book, it will answer all your questions.
Okay.
I give him credit. I've never read an autobiography like this.
Mhm.
There were so many things where I'm like, it might be a little much, man. I don't know if you had to share that.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's some detail. But
So everything I thought it would be.
he was very honest. I give him a lot of credit. He was very honest.
Yeah. Well, honesty. You never know who's honest and who's not. Some people just want to sell books.
Yes, well, he achieved that, but he's very clear about like everything. It sounds like we agree on why Picard didn't work.
Yeah,
it's his fault. It's in the book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. It's good to know who to blame.
Well, I think we all knew who to blame.
You also learn a lot about 1940s England. So if you ever wanted to spend 100 pages learning about 1940s England,
absolutely not.
My.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
good. That's what I have BritBox for.
Quite the detour.
I'm good. Well, thanks, Brian. I'm glad I don't have to read that book.
I told you I don't have media training.
I know. They're going to be like somebody like Screen Rant's going to be like, Brian Volk-Weiss said on,
Yeah, right.
on the Sci-Fi Sistas show.
Oh,
It's like,
Lord.
oh, crap. Back to my dolls. They're not
Right.
dolls.
They're action figures.
That's right.
They're awesome, by the way.
Yep, they
I'm
are.
just
They're
gonna say that.
beautiful.
I cannot wait. I am not an action figure collector, but I want these.
Exactly.
You know, as a
They're
matter
really
of fact,
beautiful.
I want a much. I need much bigger shelves back there behind me, but I'm working on it. You know, but I want these ones are so beautiful, and like you said, so detailed. And you know, when I watched the teaser video, and then as I started, you know, getting ready for tonight, it just reminded me how much I really truly love the show, love the Expanse, and I'm really excited that, you know, that you guys are getting the opportunity to help immortalize them and help people, you know, hold on to that love for this show, because I feel like it was taken from us far too soon. You know, and I know they said to look out for other iterations or possible future iterations. And I'm like, okay, but I hope it's not like a Star Trek thing where I had to wait 20 something years before I see it again, you know? So thanks for doing your part to, you know, commemorate it.
Thank you.
I mean, it's so cheesy, but it's also true. I mean, it's really almost like I'm doing it for myself. I have, I got a pretty big toy collection.
I can imagine.
It may or may not be north of 4,000 pieces.
Wow.
And it pains me that I would have been happy to buy them from someone else. Like it's really why we're doing it is, why are there Battlestar Galactica figures and not Expanse?
Right.
Why are there 50,000 RoboCops and no Expanse? Like, it really is that simple.
I feel like the Expanse is like gonna have its resurgence eventually. You know, like I feel like, I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways it was just ahead of its time in you know, and maybe sometimes in the modes of storytelling, sometimes in the things that we're seeing on screen. I mean, those of us that got it, we got it, and we got hooked, right? And we know that this is some of the best shit we've ever seen, you know, period, hands down. You know, but I feel like it's kind of like the forgotten what's that?
Forgotten epic.
Yeah, the forgotten sci-fi series, you know, and it shouldn't be, because it was some of the best stuff that was being produced, period.
Again, as I've already told you, Star Trek for me is like, it transcends a TV show. So if you remove that from the equation, I think Expanse is without a doubt the best science fiction of all time. And I would argue maybe one of the best television shows ever made, because Game of Thrones didn't stick the landing. Walking Dead lost its mind. Expanse stuck the landing. Like Galactica would have 2 bad seasons and then come back and be somewhat okay.
Right.
There was really, I don't think there was a single bad episode of The Expanse.
No.
Wow.
Not in my mind either.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
And there's so much in it.
Yeah, Expanse needs a movie. I would watch the movie, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm ready to rewatch now, just like you said, getting ready for the show. And it was so bad because I was in the office today. I told the sisters earlier, I was in the office like watching some scenes. I got caught by my boss watching The Expanse. You know, when I was like, oh, okay, sorry, but he was cool about it because I said everybody else was doing the brackets. I was watching The Expanse. And the thing is, once you watch, it's like, you know, a Lay's potato chip. You're gonna go to the next episode. You're like, okay, wait a minute. Oh, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm at work.
I know. Like you start the first one,
can't stop.
You gotta work here, because doing what you were doing at work here, that's called research.
Yeah, see, right?
I was deep in the research today.
Right in here. Yeah.
Well, if you need an accountant, she's available.
Let me tell you,
a CPA.
After that auction comment, I'm like,
Need somebody just to play with some toys. I'm good.
Speaking of which, I'm not sure who you worked with here, but whoever you were working with, if you're comfortable, give them an address. We'll send you some stuff I think you might like.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
Don't play with us.
Play. I know it. Don't play.
Don't play with sisters.
Ever. So
Oh.
yeah.
You know, I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing the name. Don't play.
Oh man, so good.
Oh
Yes.
man, Brian, I can't thank you enough. I mean,
Thank
like
you.
I want to take up more of your time, but I can't in good conscience. And then I'm just gonna start saying the same stuff over and over again. Y'all, like if you have not already signed up for this Kickstarter to get these dolls, I'm sorry, action figures.
Dolls. I know it. I was like, dolls.
Look, in my mind, it's
Dolls?
always going to be a doll, whether I play with it or not. Okay, it's an action figure. Fine, boys. You know, forgive me for offending your sensibilities. Look, it's plastic. It moves. It's a doll.
Oh
Okay.
God.
But I love it, and
You
I
can't take
hated
you
Barbie.
nowhere.
Barbie's head already came off. These
Oh.
won't. Yeah, I
Oh
hated
no,
Barbie.
no, they do, but
Oh,
Yeah, but
because-
yeah, on purpose.
every single one comes with 2 or 3 heads with different expressions or helmets. Yeah.
That's not because to me it's feeling sadistic.
What?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. Detective
You
Miller adds
buried
one with a
that. You
hat,
didn't even.
one without a hat. Like, oh yeah.
Everybody's
yeah.
gonna be
Even
like
better.
Shed. Be like Shed without his head.
Thank you,
Oh
Dave.
my God.
That'll be day 2. There'll be 2 very different heads. Heads
Shit.
come with a binder.
Shed
duct
lost his head in the first episode. Or no, whatever. Third one.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay, y'all.
Definitely
yeah.
did.
Then send us an address and we'll take care of you.
I appreciate
Thank
you.
All right.
Appreciate you. And you gotta come back. Maybe
Anytime.
when
Yeah, when it
I will just come back and talk Expanse. We could I would love to do an Expanse show with you guys.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
talk
man.
Expanse, talk about the whatever your
what
favorite
the heck were
episode.
those things on Illis?
Anything. We'll get in touch with you again. But hopefully everything goes well with this Kickstarter. We're gonna push this out, and hopefully everybody will get on there. I know I haven't even watched The Expanse, and I want these action figures.
Proto molecule
The
one.
proto molecule. That's the
that
one. I'm like,
looks crazy good.
looks so good. So
By
good.
the way,
So.
someone asked me why'd you make the proto molecule, and I was like, who's Bobby going to shoot at?
Right.
That had to be one of the greatest scenes ever of that fight between the two of them. Man,
And it went on forever.
Forever,
And it
yes.
never got bored. It was it was 20 minutes. Could have been 40 minutes.
All
Wow.
right. And
Yeah.
I would have watched the whole thing. It was so
Yeah.
it was so good. Oh my God.
Ooh.
So good.
And
They had some great fight scenes in this series. Like all the
Yeah.
battles and fights were dope. Like you
Yeah.
never got tired. Like you know how sometimes you'll watch a fight scene and you'll end up looking away because it's just the same old shit you've already seen. Like the same angles, the same moves, the same. No, everything was surprising. Like, but made sense. It wasn't stupid. You know.
right. And the thing that got me about it too was that it felt like it was, they were really fighting against, space, gravity, or whatever it was. They were making these hard turns, and you were just getting sick watching it. They're like, "Oh my God, like we're gonna have to juice up again." I'm like, "No, I can't take it."
Oh,
It was so good.
So, like-
gut-wrenching scene.
Mm.
I love the space porn in For All Mankind. I think it's like some of the best I've ever seen. Like it's just beautiful. Like every time they're in space, it's just like, every
Yeah.
time they're on the outside of a ship. But Expanse has some of the best ship and space porn too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's sick. You just like your eyes are looking at things that you've never quite seen before.
Mhm.
And it's novel, and even when you've seen them a bunch of times, it's still a different vocabulary, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
love that. I
Yeah.
love
railgun
that.
battles. Like, what is going on?
I think you sold me. I might try again.
Oh
Try it.
man,
Try
I
it.
might try again.
It is, and it gets better, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's this character named Drummer,
Uh-huh.
and in the first
Oh.
season, she's like the 89th lead, Like by the end of
Wow.
season 2, she's like the 15th lead.
Wow.
By the end of the show, she's like the 9th lead. Like,
Yeah.
and she gives what I believe to be the best speech in the history of filmed entertainment.
It was so good, right?
Finally, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say she finally defeated Bill Pullman from Independence Day with that speech. It is the most unbelievable speech, and I'm getting DM that I'm late, so I apologize.
Okay, no worries. No worries.
Anytime you'd have me back, you want to talk center seat, anything is like the fastest hour I've had all year. So
I love it.
You're a blast. You're a blast. You guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Look, go to the Kickstarter, and we love you all very much. And peace, love, and hair grease, my friends.